Hello everybody, it is Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, the home of healthy, delicious. Thank you for joining me on this episode, the very first episode to celebrate pickles. We're celebrating pickles all week in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen because I'm not sure about you guys, but I am a little bit of a fan when it comes to pickled vegetables or fermented foods. I'm a fan because they taste delicious. I am a fan because they are so convenient, they don't take long, and then we just leave them in our fridge for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. But I'm also a fan because they have massive, massive health benefits for us, which is always a good thing when there's lots of healthy things in there. And this red cabbage pickles is one example of just how easy it is to make pickles and how incredibly good they are for our body. So yes, we're doing red cabbage as opposed to white cabbage. Here's a little interesting factoid for you guys. Not sure if you knew this, but red cabbage has 10 times more vitamins and minerals bioavailable to our bodies than white cabbage. So if you're wondering why I'm using red cabbage, it's even healthier for us, and it just kind of happens to look really good as well. So we're doing red cabbage pickles. As I said, this is the first of our pickle class for the week. I'm going to be making kimchi with you guys. If you've never tried kimchi before, I suggest you watch that class. It's going to be fabulous. We're also going to be doing some pickled garlic, which is super exciting, and because it's lemon season down south, so south of the equator, so I'm talking about Australia and New Zealand, I'm also going to be teaching you guys how to make pickled lemons, not preserved lemons, but pickled lemons. Very exciting. So our pickled cabbage recipe, this is brand new, never been shared before, and all the other pickle recipes brand new, never been shared before. But I also have other pickled recipes that you guys are probably familiar with. My pickled onions, has anyone tried? I'd love to see a show. Well, I can't see it, but Mahe can see a show of hands who have tried my pickled onions. They are amazing, and they were so amazing, and they were so incredibly popular that when we revised the first book, so Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, and we turned it into Eat Your Way Slim and Healthy, which is due to be released in only a couple of weeks. So Eat Your Way Slim and Healthy, so it's all the recipes from the original yellow book, plus I've added a new chapter, which is Healthy Treats, and I also stuck in the pickled onion recipe because it is just so popular. So you're going to get that in this book. But even in this book here, the amount of pickles that I have, because I love them so much, there's pickled cucumbers, there is a pickled zucchini, quick zucchini pickles. These are amazing when it's zucchini season. These are so good, such a good way to use up lots of zucchinis. Of course, our pickled red onions and preserved lemons. So if you do have a absolute downpouring of lemons at your place at the moment, there's preserved lemons, and I'm going to be teaching you guys pickled lemons later on in the week, which is exciting. So come on down to my bench, let's get into this recipe. It is quick. It is one of those quick pickles, and literally this is what me and Mahe eat every single day. I'm not kidding. We have a jar of these pickles in the fridge and we eat them every single day because they're that delicious and that good for us. So come on down to my bench, let's get into the recipe. Very simple ingredients we have when it comes to our pickles, extremely simple. And one of the great things about these pickles is, as I was saying, it doesn't take very long. So I've got my red cabbage here, of course, which I just bought this morning, looking really fabulous and very, very fresh. Yes, you can use white cabbage, but as I alluded to before, our red cabbage has a lot more goodness, vitamins and minerals than our green cabbage, but you're still going to get a good pickle even if you use the white cabbage. So the first thing that we need to do is think about the liquid. We're making a brine up. And it's going to be a vinegar-based brine. So I'm going to measure everything directly into my pot just to make things easier. And I'm going to start with, of course, our organic apple cider vinegar. This is raw, this is unfiltered, it has the mother in it. This, once again, is a really healthy vinegar. If you are allergic to apples or apple cider vinegar, you can use white vinegar, but if you are not, please use apple cider because it is so incredibly good for our bodies. So we're going to be putting into there 200 mils, which is about 7 fluid ounces of our apple cider vinegar. And I also like the taste of apple cider vinegar as well. I find that it's got a lot more of a gentle taste than white vinegar. I mean, I use white vinegar for cleaning around the house. I use apple cider vinegar for cooking and looking after our health. So vinegar's in there. We're now going to add in 150 mils of just water. That's about about 5 ounces of water goes in as well. So this one is a little bit more diluted than, say, the pickled onions if you've ever made them. And that's because the cabbage needs a more gentler, not too much acid, you know, you've got to balance it, and that's what we're doing here. So those two are in there. The next one I'm going to be using is our pure as inulin. So this takes our pickles, which are already going to be a probiotic. So as you guys know, probiotics, when you eat probiotic foods, you increase your healthy gut bacteria, so your healthy microbiome. So we're already creating a probiotic, really, really high in probiotics. We are now creating a prebiotic because we're adding in our pure as inulin, which means we're adding dietary fiber and we're creating that wonderful prebiotic. So you guys know, right? When it comes to probiotics, that is what becomes your healthy gut bacteria. And this here, think of it like the fertilizer for your healthy gut bacteria. Prebiotics feed the healthy bacteria and make them multiply and grow even more. So into our pickles, we're going to be adding in 100 grams of inulin powder, which is about 3.5 ounces of inulin powder goes in there. Oh, it smells like candy floss every time I do this. I'm still amazed to this day how awesome our pure as inulin is. I just got this whiff. It reminded me of being at the Easter show, or at the fair when you smell the cotton candy or the candy floss. So it still blows me away to this day. All right, I'm turning this on. I'm just putting it onto a medium heat. Give it a bit of a stir. You don't have to whisk it. Just give it a bit of a stir. You don't want it on too high, so medium heat, because all we want to do is to dissolve the inulin. For a start, we're going to dissolve the inulin. Just stirring it. You might find that you get a few little lumps, but they will all come out once this starts to cook. And we just want to bring it to a very gentle boil. So just as soon as it starts boiling, we're going to take it off. While that is doing its thing over there, we can start thinking about preparing the cabbage. So this particular amount of vinegar will get us around about, we'll be able to preserve or pickle around about 400 to 450 grams of cabbage, which I think 400 grams of cabbage, about 14 ounces from memory. So it's a decent amount. So take off a bit of a wedge, like that. Give it a bit of a weigh, of course, so you know what you're working with there. It's a little bit big, so I'm just going to chop off a little bit more, because we want about, I guess, about 400 to 450 grams. So another bit of a weigh. What do you know? 458. Nailed it. Love it when that happens. Did you see that, Mahi? 458. We have this running competition of who can weigh as closely or as more precise as the other person. So there you go. Just over 450 grams. And what you want to do is you want to slice your cabbage as thinly as possible. So whether you use a knife, like I am obviously, or if you want to, you can also use a mandolin, the one where you drag it down. You can use one of those. Just be really, really careful. But and just take your time when it comes to things like this. I always say, if you just take your time, take it slow, because this is the hardest thing you're going to be doing. Like literally, cutting the cabbage is as difficult as this recipe gets, which is pretty cool. So we've talked about being high in probiotics, which is basically the bacteria that becomes your healthy microbiome. It's also high in prebiotics because of our wonderful inulin. So it's the prebiotics that feed our probiotics. And can you guys just see how this has now gone from cloudy to clear? Pretty cool, hey? We know we're getting close, because it's the inulin's dissolved. I just want to make the brine just a little bit hotter, because it's going to help to pickle this nice and fast. So as well as that, if you think about pickles and why they're so good for us, you're eating a vegetable, and that's got to be good, but you're also eating a vegetable in a very, very convenient way. And it's one of the reasons why Mahe and I, we literally eat these every single day, because they're in the fridge. It's not always as convenient to start to cook up some vegetables, but if you've always got something like this in your fridge, whether it be my pickled onions or my pickled cucumbers, or pickled cabbage, if you've always got those in the fridge, you always have the ability to add vegetables to any type of protein that you might be having. So that convenience is one of the reasons why I find myself being less tempted with not so healthy foods. That's why I love this. So yes, you're eating a vegetable, but you're eating it in an extremely convenient way. And red cabbage is really high in vitamin C as well. So it's good for, it's good for boosting our immune system. And just making sure that we're boosting it and we're maintaining it so we don't get, illnesses, we don't get sick. But it, of course, is very, very low in calories if you are a calorie counter. You know that this is not a lot of calories in there. So I've got some steam coming off here now. Pretty happy with that. I'm going to just, literally, it's just come to a bit of a simmer. I'm going to leave it maybe for another 30 seconds. And while that's happening, I'm going to add a few flavors to this. Now the flavors that we're going to be adding go amazingly well with cabbage. So the first one is, I'm going to be adding the zest of a lemon. And what is going to blow you away? Oh, see, we've got boiling happening now. I'm just going to turn it off. I'm good with that. That's all you got to do. Bring it to that boil. As soon as it's boiled, just turn it off. But when it comes to, these flavors that we're adding, you're going to be really surprised how just the zest of one lemon is going to really permeate through your pickles. It's pretty amazing. And as well as the zest of that one lemon, we're also going to add in some garlic. So I'm going to just take, I've got a couple of garlic bulbs here, garlic cloves here, already peeled. And then once again, just back to my knife, I'm going to slice these nice and thin. So you're not adding chopped up garlic. What you want to do is have very, very thinly sliced garlic going in there as well. So 3 cloves is a good amount of garlic. I find any more than that and it tends to be a little bit too garlicky. And you're probably like, really? Only 3 cloves will give us a really garlicky flavor? It will give us a nice balance. Anything more, and I find that it's just a little bit overpowering. So nice and thin with your garlic. Once again, take your time. Don't have to rush. That goes in. And the last 2 kind of flavors that we're going to be adding in here, and like I said, you're going to be surprised at just how delicious it is I have some cardamom pods which are going to go in. I have 5 cardamom pods which you just literally just throw straight into your bowl. And this is an optional extra if you want to. You can also put in, a teaspoon of chili flakes if you like it a little bit spicy. I'll leave that up to you. Just be aware that chili can inflame the gut, especially if you're not used to it. So just go easy when it comes to the chili. Give everything a bit of a mix, obviously with clean hands. And then what we're going to do now is I'm going to attempt to shove this all into my jar. What sort of size jar have I got here? This is a 1 litre or a 2 pint jar. You kind of want to just shove them in there, get as much as you can into the jar. And I'm even looking at this going, that is a lot of cabbage. How am I going to get that much cabbage into 1 jar? This is where your pressure pushing comes in handy. Get as much as you can. I think my jar's a bit small, but that's okay. Make sure you get all those flavors in there too, your garlic and your chili and your cardamom. You're probably wanting to get maybe a couple of jars, as I've just realized that my jar's too small. That's all right. All right, so get as much as you can in, really press it down, just like that. And then I'm going to get a jug and I'm going to transfer the liquid here into my jug just to make it easier to go into my jar. Make sure it's a heat-proof jug, obviously, you don't want to smash it. And then what you want to do once you've got all that pushing happening is just pour it over top of your pickles. Obviously my jar is clean and so are my hands. And what you will find that over time, just leave this on the bench now, over time you're going to be able to continue to put more of these into the jar and really push them down. They'll begin to soften up. And right now the liquid's only coming up to about there, but within a couple of hours I'm going to be able to apply more pressure onto my cabbage and add more of my cabbage here, my raw cabbage. Now these pickles, once they're at this stage, these pickles, once they're cooled down and you push down and you put as much cabbage in there as possible. I mean, if you can't get it all in, throw it into a stir fry, I say. Oh, I've got some garlic and cardamom, don't want to waste the garlic and the cardamom. Now once it's cooled down, you're going to add the lid, and then you're going to pop it in the fridge, and you want to leave this for 1 day, 24 hours, 48 hours is better before you try them, just to allow the pickles time to start to pickle, so to speak, and then this will last in your fridge for a couple of months. Just remember that every single time you go into your pickles, that you always use clean utensils, because then that will mean that the vinegar here, the brine, is not compromised, and we don't want to compromise the brine by adding dirty utensils into our pickle jar, because they won't last as long. If you see any bubbles, or it starts to smell a bit funky, it should smell like vinegar, like literally that's what you're smelling here. You're smelling vinegar. If you smell anything other than vinegar, then you know that this is potentially compromised. Now, can you add more red cabbage to your pickling liquid if you've eaten all your cabbage? Yes, you can. 100%. Do that a couple of times. Do not throw the pickle liquid away. Now, let me show you what my pickles look like now. I had to take them out of the jar because the jar is now filled with new pickles, but I want to show you guys. These have been in my fridge for a couple of weeks. Look at the color. Look at the color of the liquid. Isn't it fabulous? And if we actually have a look at those pickles, that pickled cabbage, the one thing that you'll notice is, of course, that it has retained its gorgeous, 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 gorgeous color. I mean, that is just stunning. It's retained its gorgeous color. But the other thing about it is also it's retained its crunch, so it hasn't gone soggy. And this is why I think I have become slightly obsessed with these this pickled cabbage, because it still remains this texture. It's just not like eating mush. And we have it on the side of our gut healing bowls. If I've made some type of protein, like I've cooked us a steak, we will literally put a big pile of this cabbage on the side of our steak with an avocado. It's so easy to do. So there you go. I hope you give this a try. Like, seriously, give this a try. There are so many good things about this pickled cabbage. We're talking about probiotics, prebiotics. It's high in vitamin C. It's good for the immune system. It's also high in antioxidants. Now, antioxidants, if you ever hear when a food is high in antioxidants, what that basically means is that think of antioxidants like your soldiers. So you're eating food that's loaded in beneficial soldiers for you. So what the soldiers do is they go into our system and they seek out and they destroy what is known as free radicals. Now, free radicals are like these unstable, and unstable is never a good thing. There's like these unstable atoms that are floating around in our body, and you can get free radicals from toxic food, from toxic environment. They're just basically everywhere. Now, free radicals, if they take hold in your cells, they will cause serious illness and disease. So food high in antioxidants mean they go in there and they seek out and they nullify those free radicals, those unstable characters that are floating around your body trying to create disease. Whereas I want your body to be at ease, not in disease. So high in antioxidants, won't spike your blood glucose either. So this is like, think of this like your superhero. This is a superhero food. Won't spike your blood glucose, so it's perfect for Weight Watchers and also for anyone who has who's pre-diabetic or has diabetes as well. I mean, you can't, like, listen, this is a superhero. So I hope you enjoyed that class today. Please let me know if you make this. This is fabulous. I can't wait to see your pictures. Share all your lovely pictures with us, because you inspire everyone when you're sharing your gorgeous pictures as well. So enjoy your pickled red cabbage, and we'll see you next time. We're doing kimchi, and kimchi is fabulous. For anyone who loves spice, you're going to enjoy that class. All right, guys, take care. I hope you have a good day wherever you are in the world. Please be safe. Please be well. And we'll see you really, really soon here in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Take care, guys. Bye.